Hey, Knolly Williams here, the business healer. Now, you know that one of the big things that I teach is that you have to become famous. It's one of the top 3 tenets that I teach for you to really launch your career, to really launch your business, and to really get in the ether of just having things happen for you. Okay, you got to become well known. People have to know who you are. The more well known you are, the easier it is for you to do business. And one of the ways that you can become well known is with your own book. Years ago I wrote, I've written many books, but years ago I wrote a book in the real estate industry called Consider It Sold. And I would teach my students one after another. I teach them, hey, if you want to become known in your town, you got to write a book. And I teach them how to write it, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And what I noticed is that most of my students just wouldn't do it. They wouldn't put in the work to write a book. It's a lot of work. And so one of my students one time asked me, he says, Knolly, can I just use your book? And I got to thinking about it. I said, you know what? If I change the book up, if I make it more vanilla, then I can white label it, and now you can start using it. You can edit it if you choose, or not edit it. It's up to you. And now it becomes your own book. But what I teach is that you have to become famous, and one of the things that you're going to do to become famous is to have your own book. So check this out. In this particular video, I'm going to share with you more about that concept, and I'm actually speaking to my mentorship masters group and of course my Knolly Coaching Club group together, and we meet actually every Thursday, and I unpack this idea. So check it out, enjoy the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, leave your comment down below. God bless, enjoy. This week, our focus is going to be also on your value proposition. We're going to be in the 4th lesson. And today I'm going to talk about creating your custom book or your white paper. Okay. I'm going to talk about how to do it, what it's going to do for your business, why you need it, all that kind of good stuff, the how and all that. And remember, Proverbs 10:22, the blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it. There's another way to live, and that's what we're learning here every single week. I want you to leave every session with a new strategy, mind shift that will elevate you and your business so you can spend more time doing what it is that you love to do. Okay. The 3 types of freedom, if you're not experiencing more of it, this is what you absolutely want in your life. It's a gift. It's the gift that is for you. And don't turn your back on this gift. Financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. We talked about you being in the maze and now being above the maze, where you can actually see your business very clearly through this. I call it the 3-hour workday. Okay. And the 3-hour workday really is a concept where you take 3 hours every single day, time blocked, to focus on the most dollar productive activities. Okay. So even if you're working an 8-hour day, 10-hour day, which you shouldn't be if you're following my system, but even if you are, 3 hours of that is just dedicated to the most dollar productive activities, to where eventually you delegate everything and you're only working, like I do, 3 hours a day. Okay. Right now I'm in the process of writing my book. And so what I did was I allocated 75 minutes every day. It's 1 hour and 15 minutes to write my book. And I got picked up. I got a publishing deal with McGraw-Hill, thank God. And that was my new agent got that for me. And now we're working on a TV show is another thing. So you'll be hearing more about that as well. The Business Healer TV show, which we'll be filming in a couple of months. Now, if you're not already part of this, if somehow this came to you by way of a share, you can join the class. We have a dance party every week, followed by training and learning. You can join for $1, get you 30 days of access to see if you love it. Like everyone else. Last month, it was the book of the month was Your Wish is Your Command. If you haven't dug into that, it's actually an audio series. Make sure that you do. It's in the portal. This month is Feel Free to Prosper. And Susan already told you some of the things that it's bringing up in her life. So that's a very important book. I want us to read these books together as a group and, set intentions together and grow together. Okay. It's very important. All right. So your top 10 list. That was one of them, your client reviews, your sales video, now your book or white paper. Okay. Now, again, up until this point, now, by the way, your sales video, What do I want you to do with that? I want you to begin filming your sales video. You can spend the next 2 or 3 weeks to do it. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be done. You don't have a deadline. Like, let's give you 30-day deadline. Let's write that down, Chris. Let's give them a homework deadline, 30 days to shoot your sales video. Some of you have been making it really short, and that's fine. You know, if you decide to do a longer one later, just make sure that in your sales video, you're articulating your value proposition and why you're better. Okay, why you're different, why you're the flavor they should select. You know, so now today I'm going to talk to you about your book or your white paper that you have, and then by the end of this week, you'll have 4 tools that you'll have in your arsenal that you're either completing or in the process of completing. And then I'm going to give you 4 more. There's going to be 4 more besides these. And when you have all of those tools, people will not be asking you to cut your commission. They're not going to be asking you, why should I hire you? They're not going to be asking you any of those questions because it's going to be overwhelmingly obvious. It'll be like the dumbest question to ask. So we do have 4 more parts after today. Now, getting your prospects to know you. I'm going to talk to you about the book that I wrote called Consider It Sold. Why? Because it's been a phenomenal tool in my arsenal. And by the way, books have been a phenomenal arsenal for me ever since. I've written several books since I wrote that one. And there's a strategy behind books, and I'm going to share that with you. But if you don't even want to write a book, you can actually do a white paper, which is like an 8-page sort of article, if you will. That works also. Okay, so your custom book. Now let's talk about this. Let me just show you mine, and the reason. Actually, now this is the updated version of it. You can see here, Consider It Sold. Now, have you ever gone to an appointment and let's say for those of you in real estate, most of you are in real estate. Have you ever gone to a listing appointment and talked for like an hour? Anybody ever spent an hour on a listing appointment? Who spent more than an hour at a listing appointment? That would be me. Yeah. Because I don't have that high D. So I spend probably more time than I should. And I have a high I. So I like people. I like being around people. And so how much would you say, put in the chat, what percentage of what you tell a person, at the appointment, do you think that they remember? What percentage? Put in the chat. 10%. Somebody. Okay, Mary says 10%, Kim says 10%, Marilyn says 20%, Susan says 20%, Jasmine says 10%, Melissa says 30%, Justin says 10%. Yeah, so Alessandra says, I'm a DI. What was the question again? So when you go on a listing appointment, you spend an hour, maybe an hour and a half of your time with a client or the prospect. How much of what you have shared with them during that appointment will they remember? The 90 minutes that you spent together, and you're telling them to do this and to do that, and here's what's going to happen after we get a contract. And here's what percentage do they actually remember? 15 to 20%. Sandra says, Victoria says 15%. Jacqueline says maybe 30%. Yeah. So I was finding the same. Eric Garris says definitely use your top 10 and your video. Yeah, for sure. I was finding that people would call after the appointment and they'd be asking me the same questions, stuff that I knew I had covered with them already, but they'd be asking again, and it was taking up a lot of time. See, I'm a master of efficiency. I'm a student of efficiency and a master of efficiency. And if you have to answer the same question twice or 3 times, there's something inefficient about that. Just think about all the appointments. And of course, when I was, busting it, doing it, I was doing 150 listings a year, somewhere in there. And I was spending a lot of time in front of people, and having to repeat myself was taking a lot of time. So I decided that I was going to create a document that people could go to so they wouldn't have to rely on calling me.
if they had a question after the listing appointment. And it was going to also be something that I could use before they ever met me to build confidence. Because I said, you know what, I want to be famous. I want to be well known. And you should also be famous in the areas that you serve. You should be famous. You should be well known. And that's what I wanted. And so I said, well, what do famous people have? Well, most of them have a book. So I came up with the idea one night. Josie and I were just hanging out. And I said, I'm going to write a book. And that's the book that I wrote. I wrote a book called Consider It Sold. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hey, I want to invite you out to Knolly Coaching Club. That's right. The Knolly Coaching Club is where I'm able to teach, train, and coach you every single week to your ultimate greatness. Now you can join for just $1. Go to knollycoaching.com and I'll see you on the inside.